everyone, this is Gyps Westhaven, and I am doing another tutorial video. I have been kind of busy and I haven't done a video in a long while, so I decided that, well, since I haven't, I'll get back into it. And I had a friend of mine who was asking me how to do certain things, and so I figured, well, this would be a great time and a great opportunity for me to show you guys a little bit about Photoshop, since I really love Photoshop, and I have the newest version. So I'm using Photoshop CC 2015 and whatever the latest update is. And this is Gyps with Over the Pond Production. And how do I put an outline on text and other stuff? And I kind of did a little thing here. So now I'm going to show you guys how you're going to do new. And I already have a preset. This one I did 1600, and I'm doing this just to make it look just like that. And so now you have a blank page, and this is actually transparent. You can see that this is a transparent background, nothing on it. It has the black dots and stuff like that, so you can see that it's actually transparent background. Alright, okay, so what I usually do, and you guys have seen me do videos before, and this is a little different because Photoshop has actually changed some stuff around, and I put a text layer, and I really don't want it, so I'm going to delete that. I don't know why they don't do the text layer, but they changed it in 2006 to 2015, and they had a bunch of tools, and they kind of squished it into it. You can actually enlarge this, and you can kind of get it. You can see there's a little bit more, but because I do have the real estate, and I do have a large screen, I like to keep mine like that. It's just a lot easier for me, but you're welcome to keep it either way. So you can see the tools kind of move around, and I'm actually used to it this way, so I'm going to keep it this way. They have all the tools that I use in this one tool, and oh, you can hear my dogs. Just hold on just a second here. So we've got this, and so we've got this little thing here with the pop out, and I'm going to actually choose the gradient tool, and I'm going to show you guys where it's at. I can't find it. There it is. It's down at the bottom. So we're going to put a layer. We're going to choose a gradient, and I was doing something, and these are the gradients that I was using. I got a bunch of new ones. So we're gonna do, we'll do this one since it's easy to see. For some reason, because I picked something out, it's giving me, see, I get errors all the time because it's a text layer and I didn't really want it. So we're actually going to delete this layer. Alrighty, so we're gonna apply I'm gonna apply this gradient, and we're just gonna go ding ding like this. Boom, and there's a gradient. Now that's kind of boring. I always like to put gradients in my background when I'm doing banners or whatever, and you can do this for your Facebook things, your banner, and your Twitter, anything like that. Anything you want to create anything. It's good for digital art. One of the things that I always do is I do my layer styles, and I put in an inner glow, so I have a nice little glowy thing. I have something that I was already using. These things right here, the quality. The contour, you can add just a little tiny bit. You can really do it. I have a big size on that, so if I do that, it's going to make it a little smoother. Turn down the choke, you're going to get that. If you do this, you're going to get a different effect. You kind of can see kind of that. You can put a texture in there, depending on which one you want. See, I just have a little line. So if you wanted to do that, then you could do that. One of the things that I like to do is use your pattern overlay, and that's the one that I actually used for the intro, which is this one right here. So this is actually the one that I used, and I kind of tweaked it a little bit, and that's what you're seeing in that background. So I put that there. So it was really easy to do. It didn't take a lot of work. If I wanted to adjust it, I could go back in here, go to the layer style, and go into my pattern overlay, and if I wanted it bigger or smaller, I can make it darker, you know, or lighter, because I wanted to keep the red. I want to see the gradient in the background. The other thing is I can actually scale it. See, I can scale that background. If I didn't want to use this particular one, I could actually come in here. I have some patterns that I've imported into Photoshop. These aren't something that is already preset, but I've gone out to different sites and gotten them. There's this one here, and that's, you know, it just really depends on what you want. I like these. These are the ones I just found. They were like kind of mountainous, and I really like this one. I was actually using the darker one because I like the way that looked. And here's a couple others that I got. Like I said, you can actually change the opacity of them. You can change the size of them. It gives you different things you can do. You know, if you wanted something to look like a cloth, there's a good, good to do. You can change like this. You can make it lighter if you wanted to do that. You can see that does that. You can lighten it. Screen will give you a different look. A lot of times I just use normal. It really depends on what you want to use. But I'm gonna go back and use my little mountainous one that I had, and obviously I need to change that. I need to change the size because it's too big. You can, like if you like that look, you could leave it. That'd be a really cool look, but I want to leave a lot of texture to that, so I'm going to leave it like that. Alright, so then there you go. There's your background with kind of a border. You could even go further. There's actually something in here that you can do a filter, and you can put in, if I can remember where it is, because I don't use it all that much. There's something that I wanted to show you guys. You can actually render like trees and things like that. It's really cool actually, but if I can remember where it is, and I can't remember. So anyways, it's in the filter, oh here it is, render, here this is what I'm talking about, render, and I can do flames, so I can do flames and I can render a flame. It doesn't have a path, so I can't really do that one. But that was what I wanted to show you. You can render trees or picture frame. So if I wanted to do a picture frame, it'll bring up a dialog box and say I wanted to do something, and it's got a lot of preset ones. And this is in the newest version of Photoshop. So I wanted to do, say I wanted to do big curls. So this will show me big curls. I can actually change the vine color. Say I'm really into pink or purple or whatever I want to be. I can make my vine pink or purple, and that'll change it. I can change the flower color. If I wanted to change it to say orange, I can do that. And then it'll change it. And you can see how it's changing the leaf color. I can change the leaf if I want to make it darker, a darker green. You can really do that. You just use the slider down here, make it a little darker. It'll make it look more natural. And then put here, put there, and it'll add just a little border like that. And that's really easy, and it makes it look so hard, but there it is. I mean, I wouldn't use this on this particular thing, but I'm showing you guys kind of different options and what you can do. But now I have little flowers and a little vine, and it's going here. So now the next thing I would do, and a lot of people are like, how do you do text, and what do you do, and how do you do shadows and things like that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do layer, I'm going to do new. I don't do a lot of shortcut keys, just because that's just not how I work. I just do go to the menus, and I know where the menus are. Why am I doing it? I don't know why I have a line here. I must have done something. Anyways, no, I know what I did. I'm having a lot of issues today, but that's fine. We're going to add a text layer right here. And let's see. Put a layer. And we'll do Penny's bookstore. Just something, because of the flowers, kind of. Penny's bookstore, okay? So now I have this, and I always shrink my box as little as possible. Then it's just less space when I'm doing my designing, and it just gives me just more control. Make sure that that's centered. I always like to center it. That's just white text, and that if you wanted to just do the white text, you could see it. It's really nice. One of the things you could do is you can go in here, and someone was asking me, how do you put a line around it? How do you put an outline on it? Well, it's called stroke. Obviously, I don't like that red on there because it doesn't match, and I want to make sure you guys can see it. So there's yellow. There's a yellow. You can change it. You can use this and just kind of really do it. If you wanted to put a pink one on there, that's nice because now you can actually see it. So there. So there's a really quick outline. If you wanted to make that outline bigger, and really fill that in, you could do it. I personally don't like to do that. I like it just to be just like that. This is on screen mode. You can do, if you did it like that, normal. If you were to take it and do color burn, it's going to kind of darken it up a little bit. You really just play with it and just really, figure out what you want to do. If you want to do an overlay on it, so that's going to change the color of it. So there's your stroke, and that's how you do the outline. One of the other thing is that you can do it on the inside of it. It's going to kind of bring it in. If you do like the center, it's going to kind of just get a little bit less. I usually do outside because I like the way it looks, you know, and I think that's a really, really nice look. The other thing you can do with this is anything in the layers, anything. I love playing with it. You can do a bevel and emboss, and that really, you know, brings it out. They changed the way they did the bevel and emboss. They really, really deepened it. So I need to, like, they need the opacity. I can change the opacity on it. The size, I think it's too big, so you can actually just change it to whatever you want. You can put a contour on it, and it's putting contour on that text. And then a drop shadow. Obviously, I don't want red because red doesn't match. So you come in here and you would maybe do a gray. Go do your pink, go in your pink hue, and do your gray, and do a gray. And there's your, that will match a little bit better. You can actually kind of change the angle of it. You know, if you wanted to, you know, change the angle, you can see the angle changing a little bit. You can also check out this and just do it straight. So then now it's just kind of straight at that angle. And you can change it to, you know, you can 45. You can do a more precise, like I said, you can do a 45-degree angle. And you can do it precisely by typing it in there, or you can do a 90-degree angle. Do it that way. You can also do a negative, do it the other way, do a negative 90. You know, and then you can get it on top. So there's many, many ways you can highlight your text, you know, and things like that. If you wanted to put like a color on it, if you wanted to change that text, you can change it. You'd come in here and you change it. Just 1 second. Right, there's just other little things that you can do. If you wanted to put a gradient overlay on it, there's a lot of things you can do. And it's going to affect it really, really differently. So you can put like, this one, it's going to highlight it. Depending on how, you know, and what settings you do, you just gotta play with it. You can actually change the angle of the highlight. You can change it all around. You can put it down here and see. Just it really it really depends on what you want to do with it, and how you want to create that look. I'm not gonna put a gradient on that because I like the way that looks without it. You can actually take that contour out of it and really kind of tweak it that way. Say if I were to take that, see how if I took that bevel and just put the contour, you can see that it contours certain levels of it. I like the contour and I like the bevel, but this is what I wanted to show you guys. You can also, like I said, same as the texture, you can actually put a pattern in it. My dogs decided to be retarded, so if you hear them in the background, I apologize. So if you put this in here, it's going to really affect it. You're going to go in here and make it maybe lighter, you know, and see how that affects it. You really go in and you can, you know, tweak it by using, you know, going back and forth. I normally don't put a pattern in there just because that's just not my normal thing. You can take out the, you know, the shadow and you can see how that looks with it. Alright, and so a lot of things you can just keep on going and really do it. One thing you can do is you can duplicate this layer. So you're going to duplicate it and it'll make it darker. One of the things that I like to do is I like to take the bottom layer and then take the opacity and lower that opacity, and then it'll kind of be faded in the background, you know, kind of really fade that, and you still get that same effect, and then duplicate that layer again and then change it and put it someplace else and just kind of make a background just with that. You can kind of push it off of there and then again make another, duplicate the layer like that and just kind of move it around, you know. And my dogs are fighting and I don't know why, and they're being retarded, so I apologize. They're just being silly doggies today. Every time I do a video lately, they're wanting to get their their digs in there, I guess. Alright, so the other thing you can do, I'm trying to find the right layer, and for some reason I'm not able to pick up the layer. I'm trying to get the other layer. This one. There we go. What you can do is you can kind of put a shadow on it. That's the other thing I wanted to show you. You can just play with the text and kind of put it, so to kind of give it really a lot of depth. I'm going to take one of these other layers and kind of put it up here. You don't have to have all this, you know, if you didn't want it. I'm just kind of giving you guys ideas and ways you can change things around with other things. You know, you can kind of move them around. You can make it, you know, kind of like this or off to the angle. Just really give that depth. One of the things that I would do with this layer, since there is so many different increase it maybe so you can actually see it. It gives it a nice size. Give it a really, really good size on that, so it really, really stands out from all the other backgrounds. You know, and there's a lot of different things that you can do with it. The newer version gives you a lot of features and a lot of functionality, and you can really, really, you know, really go back and tweak things. I can take this layer and go back here. A lot of it is just going through and, you know, just taking it and playing with it, knowing where things are. I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't know where any of these things are, you know, and it really, you know, it's just a matter of playing with it. See how I'm playing it? Just taking the bevel of the boss, taking it off and on, and just really playing with it. Just going through and playing and find the right look. Basically, a lot of this is just knowing where things are. So just start like with a new layer, like start a new file, just new file. For some reason I'm skipping. Do a new file. Start something up. Type something. Put it in there, play around with it, you know, just start playing with it and playing with the other settings. You know, just take it and just play with the other settings. Go here and go, okay, layer. So I want to do a layer style, and I want to put a color, because I didn't do any color on it, so I do a color, and this obviously is gray, and I don't want to do gray, and my favorite color is purple, so I'm going to do a purple on here. Alright? So there's this, and then if I want to put a stroke, there's red. I wouldn't necessarily use red. It's not a bad combination, but I just wouldn't use it. And so what you can do is just add it to make this look kind of legible. We're just going to put some kind of color here. You know, you can do white, you can do black. I like doing black and pink. I really like that combination. It's very clear. There's another thing that you can do with this, and you can go into type, and you can warp your text. So one of the things that you can do is, like, if you do an arch, you can actually move this around. You can actually change it. Obviously that's too big for what we're doing. You can do a bulge. You know, you can change the settings here. I can twist it if I wanted to and kind of give it an effect here. And then I can come in here and do that and kind of change it, or you go back over here kind of. So you can use this to twist it and turn it and change it. So if I wanted to do this, you can do a fisheye, and that'll change it. If you want to reset it and go none, it'll go back to where you were. So you can go back and really reset all this stuff. You can twist it, and you can see that that's kind of twisting it. You can distort it by, you know, using the up and down. You can kind of do that, kind of flip it. You can change it. You can come back over here, and you get the idea. You know, you just got to play with it and see what you want to do with it. There's some really cool effects. Again, I can reset it, and then I can come back here and say do a shell, and I can actually take this and I can move it around and just really play with it, and you can just keep going with it. But this is the basic thing you can do with text. So if you want to make a banner or something or another, or just change a logo, things like this, these are the things that you can do. One of my favorite settings is the flag, because I like the way that does that. You can, if you don't want it so strong, you can kind of change it a little bit, you know, just kind of get a little bit of a wave going, and then just do what you need to do, and you can, it stretches it out. You can do it that way, you can do it this way. You can actually put the numbers in here. I like using the sliders. My favorite when I want to do something like that. It just makes it look really nice. Now you can, like I said, you can add different things. I can come in here and you can come and do a layer. You can do another layer style and put a pattern on it. Whatever you want to do. Like you can put a pattern in like this. Let me see if I can actually zoom it. You can opacity, really change it up. Kind of really give it a strong. For some reason this pattern isn't showing up on this one. I don't know why, but it's not. But you can come in here and really play with text and stuff. But hopefully that gives you a basic idea on how to play with text and how to put a stroke on it or an outline. You know, you can do different colors. If you've got any questions for me, or if you want me to do a video and you don't know how to do something, please let me know. This is a very basic video. There's nothing really too intense or strong about it. But hopefully I gave you some ideas and how to put an outline on text and some other stuff. If you need to know some other things, please leave me a message and I'll be glad to respond to it. Thank you for watching, and I really hope you enjoy the video.